How wealthy families maintain their fortunes for centuries.
Did you know that there are entire families who have never had to work and yet maintain an immense fortune, generating wealth from generation to generation? No, this is not a fairy tale or something that only happens in movies. There are real strategies that these families use, and today you will learn about these secret tactics. Now, I know what you are thinking. This must be luck or something exclusive to a select few. But the truth is that anyone can apply these strategies and start creating a lasting financial legacy. At the end of this video, I will reveal the most powerful secret of all, the one that is the key to creating wealth that lasts for generations. Don't miss it, because this is the secret you cannot ignore. Stay until the end, because your journey to true financial freedom begins now.
Chapter 1. The Invisible Inheritance. The money that never sleeps.
Imagine living a life where money works for you, without the need for a traditional job. It's not a distant dream, but an achievable reality experienced by families who know how to build and maintain their wealth for generations. True, wealth doesn't come from hard work alone, but from the ability to create a sustainable financial system that generates money while you sleep. The richest families in the world understand a crucial secret. They don't rely on a single income stream. They create multiple investment channels, diversify their sources of wealth, and most importantly, they know how to keep the money flowing without traditional work being the main driver. If you've ever stopped to think about families who have maintained their wealth for hundreds of years, you may have noticed a common pattern. They're not the ones who rely on a single generation to maintain their fortune. Instead, they pass their wealth down from one generation to the next, not just through the money itself, but through the mindset and habits that perpetuate their prosperity. Let's look at some of these families that exemplify this idea. You've heard of the Rothschilds, right? One of the richest and most powerful families in modern history. But what many people don't know is that they didn't get rich just from banking and investing. They understood the secret of diversification. Over several generations, their investments have always sought assets that would guarantee a continuous flow of income. Real estate, works of art, and even shares in companies in different sectors. And what do these families do differently? They are not just accumulating money, but creating systems that allow this money to multiply. They teach their descendants to think strategically about their wealth. Money is no longer just a reward for work done, but capital that generates more money. Now think about your own financial life. Are you creating something that will last for generations, or are you just looking for ways to improve your short-term situation? These families, like the Rothschilds, show that the secret is to build a wealth system that does not depend on your constant presence. They know that true financial freedom comes when you create something that generates income passively, allowing money to work for you. But how can you apply this to your own life? First, you need to understand that the key to true wealth lies in a long-term mindset. We often focus on the immediate present, but true billionaires think about the future. They build something that goes beyond their own lives, something that can be passed on to future generations, creating a lasting legacy. Instead of thinking about how to increase your monthly income, how about thinking about how to make your money generate more money? Whether through real estate investments, stocks, or even a business of your own that can grow independently of your daily presence. The secret is to create a money-generating machine where constant work is no longer necessary to keep the wheel turning. The next step, then, is to change the way you view money. It's not just about earning more, but about investing more and investing wisely. Every penny you earn should be put into something that has the potential to grow. Money itself is not a goal, but a means to achieve something greater. When you start adopting this mindset, you will not only improve your financial situation, but you will also prepare for a future where money works for you without the need for a traditional job. Now, this is a change that may not happen overnight, but over time, you will see that a long-term mindset and the ability to create financial systems can transform your life. The truth is that while many seek security in a stable job, the wealthiest families know that true security comes from being in control of their own financial destiny. And that is what we will explore in the next chapters. How to transform this mindset into concrete actions, and how you can start building your own fortune without depending on a traditional job.
Chapter 2. Wealth is not how much you earn, but how much you protect.
Most people believe that the only way to become financially successful is through hard work and a long career in the corporate world. But families who have maintained their wealth for generations know that the real secret lies in creating sources of passive and diversified income. One of the most common ways these families build their wealth is through investing. But what sets them apart from the average person is the way they invest. They don't just put their money into simple assets like savings or low-risk investments. They focus on long-term investments, those that offer significant returns, such as real estate, shares of innovative companies, and even investing in their own businesses and ventures. Real estate, for example, is one of the preferred forms of investment for wealthy families. Buying high-value properties and renting them out generates a steady source of income that doesn't depend on their day job. At the same time, these properties appreciate in value over time, providing a source of passive wealth. But the key is to choose the right properties and manage them wisely to ensure that they become sustainable sources of income. Another crucial investment for these families is stocks and bonds. Investing in large corporations, promising startups, and even investment funds can yield substantial dividends. The key here is to identify companies with growth potential and hold them in your portfolio for the long term. Many of these families are not looking for quick profits, but rather to build a solid investment portfolio that will grow over time. And if you think that investing in real estate and stocks is something only the extremely wealthy can afford, think again. Today, thanks to technology, it is possible to start investing in small fractions of large properties or stocks through online investment platforms. This has democratized access to the financial market and opened the doors to anyone who wants to learn how to invest intelligently. In addition, many of these families diversify their sources of income by investing in their own businesses. They create or acquire businesses that can grow independently and generate profits passively. Think of family businesses that have their own brand and operations established, generating a steady income without family members having to work every day. The secret is that by creating these passive income streams, wealthy families are not tied to the routine of a traditional job. They are able to secure a steady source of money while focusing their efforts on new investments or expanding their portfolio of assets. But, as any good investor knows, risks exist. That's why these families also learn to manage the risks of their investments, diversifying their portfolio and never putting everything into a single asset or type of investment. They know that the key to preserving wealth is to protect their capital and ensure that it is always growing, regardless of the ups and downs of the market. If you want to start building your own wealth, it is essential to learn about the world of investing and understand how to start investing your money wisely. The first step is to start thinking of money as a tool. Instead of working just to pay the bills, start working to make your money make more money. In the next few chapters, we'll explore practical ways to start investing and creating passive income streams, no matter where you are in your financial journey. But to get started, remember, the real secret to wealth isn't working more, it's making your money work for you.
Did you like these strategies to achieve financial freedom? Then leave a like and subscribe for more content that will transform your life.
Chapter 3: The Real Asset. Elite Financial.
Now that we've explored investment strategies, it's important to understand how these families create a legacy of wealth that spans generations. The real secret to families that maintain their wealth over the years is not just the amount of money they have, but how they structure their wealth to ensure that it is passed down from one generation to the next. Most of this strategy revolves around the creation of family trusts and funds. A trust is a legal structure that allows an individual or family to transfer their assets, money, real estate, stocks, etc., to a fund that is managed by a trustee with the goal of benefiting future generations. The advantage of this is that the wealth is protected from excessive taxes and potential family disputes. Many wealthy families also create family trusts, which are essentially pools of assets that are managed by an entity to ensure that the funds are used efficiently and for the benefit of their descendants. These funds are used to finance education, purchase real estate, and even support family ventures. They not only ensure that wealth is preserved, but they also help future generations learn how to handle large sums of money responsibly. Another common practice is ongoing financial education within the family. Successful families know that the real key to preserving and growing wealth is not just money, but knowledge. By teaching family members from an early age how to manage finances, invest, and make smart financial choices, these families ensure that future generations are prepared to continue the legacy of wealth. But financial education isn't limited to just children and grandchildren. Many of these families involve family members in financial decisions from a young age, allowing them to understand the value of wealth and how to keep their assets growing. This creates a wealth mindset that goes beyond simply having money. It's about having the right mindset to preserve and grow it. However, creating a financial legacy isn't just about passing on assets, it's also about responsibility. Successful families often have rules and regulations in place to ensure that their heirs are prepared to manage their wealth responsibly. This may include creating education requirements or requiring that heirs successfully manage a small portion of the trust before they can access larger sums of money. The goal here is to ensure that wealth is preserved, not just materially, but also emotionally. By laying these solid foundations, wealthy families create an environment where money is not just a physical asset, but a tool for growth and education. If you want to create your own version of this legacy, start by thinking long-term. Most people focus on the immediate, how to make money today or tomorrow, but the key is to think beyond yourself. By building a strategy that preserves your wealth for future generations, you create a legacy that can last well beyond your own lifetime. The first thing to do is start thinking about how you can protect your wealth. To do this, learn about trusts, family trusts, and how to use these tools to ensure that your inheritance is well managed. Most importantly, start educating those around you, whether it's your family or your children, about how to manage that money so that wealth can be preserved for generations. A family's legacy isn't just about how much money they have, but how they manage and pass that money on to future generations. That's the real secret behind families who never had to work and who maintain their wealth for generations.
Chapter 4: The secret is in the structure, not the effort.
Takum. Now that we've explored the preservation and transfer of wealth between generations, we need to discuss a crucial point that is often overlooked: the mindset of wealth. If you look at families that maintain their wealth over time, you'll realize that it's not just the legal structure or financial strategies that ensure the continuity of wealth. The key factor is the mindset. The mindset of a wealthy family is focused on continuous growth, innovation, and the preservation of the legacy. People who maintain great fortunes for generations know that money is not an end in itself. For them, true wealth lies in the entrepreneurial mindset, the search for new opportunities, and the ability to transform challenges into possibilities. Wealthy families tend to be committed to education and innovation. They understand that the world is constantly changing and that the ability to adapt is essential. That's why they encourage new generations to be entrepreneurs, learn, and reinvent themselves. Wealth is not seen as something to be stored away and protected in a safe, but as a foundation for exploring new opportunities, testing innovative ideas, and creating something new. In addition, these families rarely focus on a single source of income. They have a diversification mindset. This means that over time, they look for ways to increase their wealth through different means, whether through investments in real estate, their own businesses, stocks, or other alternative sources of income. They understand that to build a lasting fortune, they need to spread their risks and ensure that wealth is always growing, even when one area of the market is declining. Most importantly, these families know that money does not define who you are. Many billionaires and heirs to great fortunes have a mindset of humility and discipline. They understand that true wealth is built on solid values, such as integrity, hard work, and responsibility. They avoid the temptation to live extravagantly because they know that true wealth does not come from immediate ostentation, but from prudent management. One of the biggest myths people have about wealthy families is that they live a life of constant luxury. However, the reality is quite different. Many of these families live modestly, with a strong focus on sustainability and social responsibility. They engage in charitable initiatives and look for ways to give back to society, ensuring that their actions are not only geared towards their own benefit, but also towards the greater good. And it is precisely this mindset that puts them in a position for sustainable success. Most people, when they reach a certain amount of money, are tempted to spend and consume excessively. But for families who have managed to maintain their wealth for generations, the focus is completely different. They know that wealth is in control, not in spending. Controlling how money is spent, where it is invested, and how it is managed is the key to a long-term financial life. To build a wealth mindset, it is important to ask yourself some fundamental questions. What am I doing now to preserve and multiply my wealth in the future? How am I educating the next generations about finances and investing? And most importantly, am I adopting the right mindset to achieve true financial freedom? It's not enough to just have money. It's all about how you manage it and how you think about it. If you want to follow the example of families who never had to work, start developing a mindset that balances innovation, responsibility, and continuous growth. This is the real key to ensuring that your wealth is preserved and that your legacy is lived on for generations.
Want to achieve wealth and freedom? Start now. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next tips.
Chapter 5. How to adapt these secrets to your reality.
To close our journey, let's talk about legacy. When we talk about families that have never had to work, the concept of legacy is central. These families not only preserve and expand their wealth, but also ensure that it is passed on in a structured way to the next generations, creating a cycle of sustainable wealth. But legacy is not just about money, it is about the values and principles that are passed on. The true legacy of a wealthy family is built on financial education, and this starts long before youth. Instead of expecting children or young people to inherit a large fortune, Successful families are concerned with teaching financial fundamentals from an early age, such as the value of money, the importance of investments, and the wisdom of spending wisely. Contrary to what many imagine, these families do not just hand out checks and expect their heirs to fend for themselves. They teach the next generation to think like investors, to make responsible financial decisions, to build businesses, and to maintain financial discipline. Legacy is not about a specific amount, but about the ability to generate wealth sustainably over time. The importance of this legacy is immense because it ensures that future generations can not only maintain wealth, but also expand and transform existing wealth. By doing so, families are not trapped in a cycle of dependency. They provide freedom and opportunities for each generation to follow their own path while benefiting from the lessons and resources left by their ancestors. And that's not all. True legacy also involves the social impact that these families have on the world. Many of them dedicate a significant portion of their wealth to causes they consider important, such as education, health, and environmental preservation. They share their wealth in a way that creates a greater good, which ensures that their legacy lives on and is strong for future generations. This is one of the greatest lessons we can learn from families who preserve their wealth for generations. Money has transformative power, but it must be used responsibly. To build your own legacy, it is essential to start thinking not only about how to generate wealth, but how to use it to create a positive impact. Ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your future generations to inherit from you? More than a full bank account, a solid and meaningful financial legacy depends on your actions and decisions in the present. So if you want to follow the example of these families and ensure that your wealth is passed down from generation to generation, start thinking about your legacy now. Plan your financial education, establish an investment plan, and, most importantly, teach those around you to think smart and act with purpose. That way, your financial legacy will be not only a material inheritance, but a source of wisdom and inspiration for the future. Legacy is the most powerful way to ensure that your wealth continues to grow, even when you are no longer around to manage it. By planting the seeds of financial wisdom and responsibility, you are creating a future in which your future generations can prosper without having to work in the traditional way. The real secret to maintaining wealth for generations is that it must always be cultivated, always taught, and always shared.
Now that you've learned the financial secrets of families who never had to work, it's time to reflect on your own journey. What will you do with the knowledge you've just acquired? The first step is to take control of your financial destiny and start now. Remember, true wealth doesn't come from purposeless hard work, but from strategy, intelligence, and long-term vision. You have the ability to create a lasting legacy, just like those families who preserve their wealth for generations. Start building your financial foundation today with wisdom, discipline, and a clear plan. The future of your wealth is in your hands, and you can transform it into something greater than you imagine. Don't wait. The journey begins now. Now it's up to you. What will you decide to do? Time doesn't wait, and neither does your legacy.